Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture on visualization do's and don'ts. I'll start with the 5 do's and then go to the 5 don'ts. Do you mind? Number 1, do use one color to represent each category. That will make the categories clear and easy to understand and separate. If you combine colors, it will make it more confusing for your audience members. Do order data sets using a logical hierarchy. Here you'd see, if you had to, you don't know what's in these balls, what they represent, these circles. You would normally think that the one on the top, the one upper in the screen, is more important than the two below it. And you'd also think that the two below it are somehow at the same level of the hierarchy, and that they're both connected to the first one and separate from each other. So using those types of logical hierarchies help your viewer, your audience members understand what you're getting across. Do use callouts to highlight important or interesting information. Some visualizations can be kind of busy, like the world around us. As a result, if there's any really important or interesting information, try to call it out. Try to highlight it if you can. Do visualize data in a way that is easy for readers to compare values. For example, you have this very simple bar chart below. It looks like the bar on the right is about twice the size of the bar on the left. It's very easy to compare those two things. So it helps your audience member understand what you're trying to get across. Do use icons to enhance comprehension and reduce unnecessary labeling. These ones are kind of vague. Obviously, you know what a square and a circle are, but things like a stop sign icon, that shape helps helps the viewer understand, using their lived experience and their knowledge to emphasize, this point's important, stop, or the triangle for a warning sign. Try to use these types of icons that people know readily. It'll help communicate your message to your audience members. Here are the don'ts. 5 of those. Here's one don't. Don't use high contrast color combinations like red, green, or blue, yellow. They can be distracting to the viewer and not so useful. And they can also be not so pleasant to look at. Don't use 3D charts. They can skew perception of the visualization. Oftentimes, the 3D elements of it actually make it harder for the person that is looking at your visualization to understand what you're getting across. Because you want them to understand what you're getting across accurately, please do not do that. Don't add chart junk, a term by Edward Tufte. Chart junk is unnecessary illustrations, drop shadows, or ornamentations that distract from the data. You want to make sure that you have the essential information visualization to not overwhelm your viewer. Try to minimize any chart junk, any extra miscellaneous unnecessary elements. Don't use greater than 6 colors in a single layout. If you have more than 6, it's going to confuse your audience members because there are just too many colors to understand, too many categories, too many things to understand. Try to make it a little bit simpler. Potentially make multiple visualizations. Finally, don't use distracting fonts or elements. Try not to bold, italic, or underline text. Use basic things like this big T. Size denotes something that's important. Something that's smaller is probably a little bit less important. Use things like hierarchies, like we spoke about earlier in the do's section. That was visualization, do's and don'ts. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you again soon. My name is Dino.